There was a time when you cared, when you did everything to make others happy, when you bent over backward just to fit in, when you sacrificed your own dreams just to keep the people around you comfortable. But no matter how much you gave, it was never enough. They still criticized you. They still doubted you. And one day you realized something. No matter how hard you try to please people, they will always find a reason to talk. That's when everything changed. That's when you decided to stop living for them and start living for yourself. But the moment you made that choice, the labels came. You've changed. You're selfish. You only care about yourself now. They say it like it's a bad thing, as if focusing on your own growth, your own success, your own happiness is something to be ashamed of. The same people who took you for granted now call you distant. The ones who never supported you now act like you owe them something. But here's the truth. They never had a problem with you putting them first. They only have a problem now because you finally started putting yourself first. And that's what they don't want you to realize. Society is quick to shame ambition when it's still in the process, but the moment you succeed, everything changes. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone go all in on their dreams, only to be mocked in the beginning? The athlete waking up at 4 a.m. while their friends partied. The entrepreneur skipping nights out to build their business. The student sacrificing fun for focus. At first they're called obsessed, unrealistic, or even selfish. But when they finally make it, when they win championships, build empires, and prove everyone wrong, suddenly those same people switch sides. Now they call it dedication. Now they admire the discipline. Now they want to be part of the story. But why does it happen this way? Why do people resist your growth until they can benefit from it? The truth is simple. When you rise, it forces others to face their own stagnation. Your ambition reminds them of their excuses. Your discipline exposes their laziness. Instead of feeling inspired, they feel threatened. So they try to pull you back, not because they hate you, but because your success is a mirror showing them everything they're not willing to do. And if you're not careful, you'll let their doubts become your reality. You'll start questioning yourself. You'll feel guilty for choosing yourself. You'll shrink your dreams just to make them comfortable. And worst of all, you'll regret it. Because at the end of the day, those who truly support you will never ask you to play small. This video is for those who have been called selfish just for wanting more. For the ones who have been made to feel guilty for chasing a dream no one else could see. Because here's the truth. Putting yourself first is not selfish. It's necessary. Success requires focus. It requires saying no to distractions, distancing yourself from negativity, and sometimes walking away from people who refuse to grow with you. By the end of this video, you'll understand why being called selfish is often the biggest sign that you're on the right path. You'll learn how to handle criticism, how to stay focused even when the world doubts you, and most importantly, why winning is the only answer you'll ever need. Because once you win, everything changes. The same people who doubted you will suddenly respect you. The ones who judged you will now admire you. And in the end, you'll realize they never had a problem with your ambition. They just had a problem with the fact that you actually had the courage to chase it. But why is it that the moment you start prioritizing yourself, people are so quick to call you selfish? Why does choosing your own path, focusing on your own success, and refusing to live on someone else's terms make you the bad guy? The truth is, most people don't even understand what being selfish really means. There's a difference between selfishness and self-priority, but the world often confuses the two. Selfishness is when you hurt others for your own gain, when you take without giving, when you manipulate situations just to benefit yourself while disregarding the people around you. But self-priority? That's something completely different. That's about setting boundaries. That's about valuing your time, your energy, and your future. It's about recognizing that you can't pour into others if your own cup is empty. And yet, the moment you start focusing on your goals, people throw the word selfish at you like an insult. But why? Why do they do that? The answer is simple. Because your growth threatens their comfort. When you start changing, it forces them to look at their own lives. It forces them to ask themselves uncomfortable questions. If you're improving, what does that say about them? If you're making sacrifices, what excuse do they have? Your progress reminds them of everything they're not doing, and instead of using it as motivation, they attack you for it. And then there's fear, the fear of change. People get used to a certain version of you, the version that was always available, the version that said yes to everything, the version that put their needs before your own. And when you start setting boundaries, when you start saying no, when you start choosing yourself, it disrupts the dynamic. Suddenly they don't have the same access to you. Suddenly they're not your top priority anymore. And instead of respecting your growth, they label it as selfishness. But let's talk about ambition, because that's where the biggest misunderstanding happens. Some people just don't get it. They see ambition as greed. They think wanting more, pushing harder, or choosing an unconventional path is somehow wrong. But look at history. Look at every successful entrepreneur, athlete, or artist. How many times were they called selfish before they made it? Take Elon Musk, for example. When he was working insane hours to build Tesla and SpaceX, people called him obsessed. They said he was neglecting everything else, that he was too focused on his own vision. But now, he's one of the most successful and influential people in the world, and suddenly, that obsession is seen as genius. Or think about Serena Williams. When she was training relentlessly, skipping social events, and dedicating her entire life to tennis, people called her intense, too competitive, too selfish with her time. But once she became a legend, those same people started calling her disciplined, driven, and inspiring. Even artists like J.K. Rowling, who went from being a struggling single mother to one of the most successful authors of all time, faced this judgment. When she spent hours writing alone, pouring everything into her work, some people questioned why she wasn't doing something more practical. But once Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, suddenly, that dedication was admirable. And that's the pattern. In the beginning, people won't understand. They'll judge you, criticize you, and make you question yourself. But once you succeed, once you prove them wrong, the story changes. That's why you can't let their words stop you. That's why you have to keep going, even when they don't believe in you. Because one day, they won't call you selfish anymore. They'll call you successful. But that's just the beginning. The road to success isn't just about ignoring the noise. It's about enduring the sacrifices that come with it. Because here's the truth. Winning comes at a cost. You don't get to have it all. You don't get to chase your dreams while staying in your comfort zone. You don't get to build something great without losing a few things along the way. And that's what most people don't see. They admire the end result, but they don't understand what it takes to get there. Success demands time. More time than most people are willing to give. While others are out partying, relaxing, or taking it easy, you're working, practicing, learning, and pushing yourself beyond your limits. You miss birthdays, you miss holidays, you miss the carefree moments that everyone else gets to enjoy. And people don't understand it. They start to resent you for it. They say you've changed. They say, you never have time for us anymore. What they don't see is that every minute you invest in yourself is a step towards something bigger. And then there are relationships. Not everyone can handle the journey with you. Some friends start drifting away because they don't relate to your mindset anymore. Some family members don't support you because they don't understand your vision. Some people you love will try to hold you back, not because they want to hurt you, but because they're afraid of losing you. And you have to make a choice. Stay where it's comfortable or keep moving forward. Comfort and security, you have to let go of those too. Success is built in uncertainty. There are no guarantees, no safety nets, no shortcuts. There are nights filled with doubt, days where nothing seems to go right, moments where you wonder if it's all worth it. And while others settle for what's easy, you push through, knowing that the struggle is part of the process. And the way society reacts to your journey, it follows a pattern. At first, they ignore you. No one cares when you're starting out. No one notices the hours you put in, the risks you take, the sacrifices you make. Then, when you start making progress, they doubt you. Are you sure this is a good idea? What if it doesn't work out? They plant seeds of uncertainty, hoping you'll give up before you prove them wrong. If you keep going, the criticism starts. Now they're not just doubting you, they're attacking you. They mock you. They make fun of your dreams. They call you crazy for believing you can be more than what you are. And this is where most people quit. Not because they're not capable, but because they let other people's voices become louder than their own belief. But if you don't quit, something interesting happens. Slowly, the mockery fades. The criticism turns into curiosity. And then, when you finally make it, when the results are undeniable, when success is staring them in the face, the same people who doubted you start to admire you. They start calling you inspiring. They start asking for advice. They rewrite history, acting like they always believed in you. It's happened time and time again. Look at Elon Musk. Years ago, people laughed at him. They said Tesla would fail, that SpaceX was a joke, that he was wasting his time chasing impossible dreams. Now, those same people praise him as a genius. Look at Michael Jordan, cut from his high school basketball team, doubted by coaches, told he wasn't good enough. But he didn't let that stop him. He trained harder than anyone, turned rejection into motivation, and became one of the greatest athletes of all time. And it's not just famous people. There are countless untold stories of people who were dismissed, rejected, and criticized until they proved everyone wrong. The local business owner who struggled for years before finally making it. The artist who was told their work wasn't good enough until the world recognized their talent. The single parent who worked day and night to create a better life for their child despite everyone saying it was impossible. This is the journey of every winner, every champion, every person who dared to want more. The struggle, the doubt, the sacrifice. It's all part of the price you pay. But if you can endure it, if you can keep going even when no one believes in you, there comes a moment when everything changes. When the same people who once called you selfish, reckless, or crazy start calling you a success story. And that's when you realize they never really had a problem with you. They just had a problem with watching you win. And this is where the real transformation begins. Not in the success itself, but in the way you see yourself. Because for so long you've been told that putting yourself first is wrong, that focusing on your goals makes you selfish, that choosing your future over people's expectations means you're cold, ungrateful, or arrogant. But what if that was never true? What if the real problem isn't that you're selfish, but that people are uncomfortable with someone who refuses to stay small? The moment you shift your mindset, everything changes. You stop feeling guilty for wanting more. You stop apologizing for chasing your dreams. You stop waiting for permission to build the life you know you're capable of living. Because here's the truth. Prioritizing yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. No one else is going to create the life you want for you. No one else will sacrifice for your dreams the way you will. No one else is responsible for your happiness, your success, or your growth, and it's on you. But even when you understand this, the criticism doesn't stop. People will always have opinions, and most of them will come from those who don't have the courage to do what you're doing. They'll say you've changed, but that's the point. You're supposed to change. You're supposed to grow, to evolve, to outgrow the limits that once held you back. The key is learning how to filter what actually matters. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every piece of advice is worth listening to. Some people criticize because they don't understand. Others do it because they're projecting their own insecurities. And then there are those who try to bring you down simply because they can't stand seeing someone else rise. But that's not your problem to solve. Your job is to protect your vision, to guard your mindset, and to stay focused no matter what noise surrounds you. Ignoring negativity doesn't mean pretending it doesn't exist. It means refusing to let it control you. When people doubt you, let it fuel your determination. When they call you selfish, let it remind you that you're on the right track. When they say you'll never make it, use it as proof that you're dreaming big enough. Because the greatest revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right. But you don't have to do it alone. The people you surround yourself with can either push you forward or pull you back. Choose wisely. Spend less time with those who drain your energy, who make you feel guilty for wanting more, who secretly hope you fail. Instead, find the ones who challenge you to be better, the ones who celebrate your growth instead of resenting it, the ones who understand that success isn't selfish, It's inspiring because at the end of the day, the people who truly care about you will never see your ambition as a threat. They'll never try to make you feel bad for working hard. They'll never ask you to shrink so they can feel comfortable. And those who do, they were never meant to be part of your journey in the first place. So break free from the label. Let go of the guilt. Stop explaining yourself to people who will never understand. This is your life, your future, your story. And the only person who gets to decide how it unfolds is you. And then, one day, everything shifts. The same people who once called you selfish, arrogant, or unrealistic suddenly start seeing you differently. The whispers of doubt fade into murmurs of admiration. The ones who questioned your decisions now tell others they always believed in you. The very people who tried to make you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself now use your name as an example of what's possible. This is the moment most people dream of. The I told you so moment. But when you finally get there, you realize something surprising. You don't even feel the need to say it, because by then you understand that their doubt was never really about you, it was about them. Their fears, their insecurities, their own inability to take risks. They weren't fighting against your success, they were struggling with the reflection of their own limitations. And now that you've proven what's possible, their perspective changes, not just about you, but about what they believe is possible for themselves. That's the irony of success. The very thing people criticize you for in the beginning is what they celebrate you for in the end. The selfishness they despised was never selfishness at all. It was self-discipline, self-respect, and self-belief. It was the ability to put in the work, even when no one understood. It was the courage to stay committed, even when no one supported you. And now that they see the outcome, the definition of selfish suddenly changes. Because the truth is, winners don't just win for themselves. They win for everyone who watches, for everyone who needs proof that it's possible, for everyone who once believed success was out of reach. That's why real winners don't hold grudges. They don't waste time proving people wrong. They don't seek revenge against those who doubted them. Instead, they focus on something far more powerful: giving back. Not in a way that seeks validation, not in a way that demands recognition, but in a way that lifts others up. Because when you reach a level where you no longer need to prove anything, the greatest joy comes from helping others do the same. The same people who once saw you as selfish might be the ones looking to you for guidance. The ones who called you arrogant might now ask for advice, and instead of holding on to resentment, you choose to lead by example. Maybe you mentor someone who reminds you of yourself years ago. Maybe you help a friend take their first step toward their dream. Maybe you simply show others, through your actions, not just your words, that success isn't about taking from others. It's about creating something bigger than yourself. Because that's the full circle of winning. It starts with people doubting you, calling you selfish, telling you that you're wrong. Then, after all the hard work, the sacrifices, and the lonely nights, you finally succeed. And in the end, you don't just change your own life. You change the way others see what's possible for themselves. And that is the real victory. So, after everything, one question remains. Was it worth it? The long nights, the sacrifices, the loneliness, the judgment from people who never even tried to understand? The answer is always yes. Because no matter how much doubt you faced, no matter how many times you were called selfish, no matter how often people tried to make you feel guilty for wanting more, you kept going. And that alone is proof that you were never the problem. The truth is, people will always have opinions. They will always have something to say. If you chase comfort, they'll say you're lazy. If you chase success, they'll say you're selfish. If you follow the crowd, they'll say you have no ambition. If you break away, they'll say you think you're better than them. No matter what you do, someone will find a way to criticize it. So why let that stop you? Why let their words carry more weight than your own dreams? Every person who has ever achieved something great has been misunderstood at some point. Every success story started with people who had to walk alone. Every winner was once doubted, questioned, even ridiculed. But the difference between those who win and those who don't is simple. Winners refuse to let fear of judgment control their path. They know that the people who mock them today might be the same ones cheering for them tomorrow. But even if they aren't, it doesn't matter. Because this journey was never about them. It was always about you. So if you have a dream, chase it. If you have a goal, commit to it. If there's something inside you that refuses to settle for less, listen to it. Don't let the fear of being called selfish hold you back. Because in the end, the only regret you'll ever have is not going after what you truly wanted. This is your life. No one else is going to live it for you. No one else is going to fight for your dreams the way you will. And years from now, when you look back, you won't remember the opinions of those who doubted you. You'll remember the moments you pushed through, the moments you bet on yourself, the moments you refused to quit. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for approval. Start now, keep going. And one day, when you finally win, you'll realize something powerful. It was never about proving them wrong. It was always about proving yourself right.